Yo.
Hey, welcome to the new meta, episode 115.
115? Oh my
115.
God.
Craziness, man.
It is actual craziness.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
How
That's a
long
lot of
before your
PTR.
toxicity infects me?
That's a lot.
Just too much, you know? At some point, you guys are going to see me just like, you know what, man? I can't take this dude anymore. I'm out.
Yeah, with all those times where you're like disconnected, you're like, fuck this, dude. I need a breather.
Oh, man. I'm on vacation. So,
Yeah.
um, speaking of vacation,
Yeah.
you just went on a vacation. Everybody, listen, dude, I am like your personal tracker.
Steward.
When people are like, where's Fluff? Where's Fluff? Is there a new meta? I was getting asked if there was going to be a new meta like on Saturday. They're like, Puff posted a picture on a mountain. Like, is there a new meta this week?
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know. He didn't say anything to me about it.
Sure.
I didn't even know you're out of town. And then people are like, yo,
I
Fluff,
will
where's
say
Fluff?
though, while we're on that subject, I will be out of town next Tuesday.
What?
I know.
Absolutely unacceptable.
Yep.
Where are you going next Tuesday?
To pick up a motorcycle, maybe.
Oh, nice, man.
Yeah, we gotta fly out
For yourself or for the missus?
for me. Mrs. already got
Nice.
hers.
Cool. So where are you getting it from?
Outside of Chicago, it's
Oh yeah, Chicago's got cheap as hell prices on vehicles,
Bro.
man. I don't know
Yeah.
why. My
it's
Corvette came from Chicago too. Like I drove up there to buy it because it's like it was thousands cheaper in Chicago than everywhere else in the country. And I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, like that's fine. Chicago's close to me.
yeah. Not only did I get an insane deal, but that's what was it? Oh yeah, it was $44 flight.
No, wow.
Yeah.
So you're gonna drive back through St. Louis? You're driving it back if you purchase it, I assume.
I'm
right?
driving it back, but because of there's like an engine break-in period with the motorcycle. If you really want to like, because this is my like forever bike probably.
So it's a brand new bike.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's usually 500 miles.
Yeah, the first 600 miles I had to like, I can't just idle on the highway at all. So I had to like do back roads and like accelerate, decelerate for like 600 miles.
Yeah, you can't run it. Right.
Yeah.
That makes sense. They want you to break the bearings in. And stuff.
Yeah. So I probably won't pass through St. Louis. That's really a 10-hour route just to get home.
That's
480 miles or something like that in one day.
I thought with cars they kind of do that shit at the factory these days. So that's weird that they don't, but that's cool. Like I know that used to be a thing. I've definitely done that before myself. So
yeah, it was weird because my Ninja was like, just don't take it over like 500 or 5,000 RPMs the first like 500 miles, and then after that you could do more. But this one's like, no, just it doesn't matter what your RPMs are. Just like make sure you don't keep it idle like at a certain speed, which is weird.
For 600, that's a lot of miles, man. For like how long? What's the limit? Like for how many seconds can you not?
It just says staying idle is like the worst thing you can do for this particular engine for some reason.
That's weird. That's cool though.
Yeah.
It'll be cool. So if you do end up swinging through St. Louis, give me a buzz, man.
Hell yeah, man.
Did you bring my pillow? You take my pillow on the plane, and then you can sit. Well, I don't want you sitting on it. It'll have fluff ass on it.
Yeah, let's sit on the motorcycle. There you go.
It'd be so comfy, dude. All right. So anyway, let's get into some Diablo stuff.
Oh, what?
Some stuff. Let's talk about the stuff and things.
Yeah.
We got a poll from last week.
Last week, we asked, should Blizzard even worry about creating an official Diablo 4 forum?
Hold on.
What's up? What?
We forgot to talk about how we nailed the intro.
You know what? Also, this podcast, or this is going to have no results because I literally just posted the podcast to YouTube before this. So I just thought about that.
Weak. That's okay. We'll just zoom in really close and then people can't see it.
Yeah.
So we
ahead.
nailed the intro though. We nailed the start. Good
yes. Through technology, we've conquered the realm of OBS, I think.
Okay, let's see the results for the three. Hold on. Do you need me to vote on it real quick?
Yeah, just pad that vote, guys. Everybody go vote.
Okay, everybody go vote real quick.
VPN. Get some juicy votes on there.
It's got, a couple at least. So.
All right. So anyways, yeah. So should Blizzard even worry about creating an official Diablo 4 forum? If you guys missed last week, which you might have because I just posted it, we talked about heavily last week. Someone was complaining on the Diablo 3 forums how there wasn't a Diablo 4 forum. And, you know, to me, now that we can fully talk about this subject, like it's a total fucking waste of time to even make a forum in the current year because Reddit does exist. Now, obviously the point you brought up last week is, well, you know, that information is then, you know, basically outsourced instead of like having all of it local, which I don't know the value in storing thousands of people bitching about your game at all times.
What are you talking about, man? The forums are so positive.
Yeah.
Anytime I'm feeling down, I go to Reddit and I feel so much better about myself.
Yes. So yeah. But to me, it just, if that, you know, to make a website, to make a forum, to patrol that forum, to monitor the forum. Obviously, you're going to be doing that either way. So you're going to have a community manager that's going to like just be monitoring the Reddit, even if you didn't have a forum. But if they have to do like two places, that's just like, I don't know. I just feel like that's kind of time wasted. And obviously getting a programmer to build the forum and build the site and make sure that, you know, maintain that. Sites don't just like, they're not just like books where you can publish it and you're done. It's like an ongoing thing. So, yeah, I
think it sucks that it's a waste of resources, and I would say Reddit is so good, but I think that for some reason a company as big as Blizzard hopefully can afford to dedicate some people to a forum, whether that's, you know. So I would say they probably need to have it. Unfortunately, I understand the other point of view, and I agree with it. I just don't.
But what about from the perspective?
I can't see them giving the control of the data up.
Right, but what about from the perspective, like, okay, so with Diablo 3, as we found out last week, you have to own a license to even communicate on the Diablo 4 forum. Do you think that should be the gate going forward, or should it just be like anyone?
I think that's personally silly. I don't know, man. See, because they use that to control spam and things too. You know what I mean? If anybody could just make an account, like you would have people making an account and just posting, like, you know, like here's an example. Like when the Barbs got super pissed at you about the belt that you had nothing to do with.
Yeah.
Okay. There would have been people making accounts to literally post like, you know, F Lord Fluffy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
So I think it controls that because people are a little more hesitant to say F Fluff on their real account. You know what I mean? Because like, well, if I get banned, then I can't talk on the forums. And so I see both sides of it, but at the same time, if you're interested, there definitely needs to be a section on the forum that anybody can post to. Because there needs to be a spot where like, let's say I'm interested in the game, or I'm having even a licensing issue or something, where I can post on there and be like, hey man, like I'm thinking about getting the game. Can anybody tell me, will it run on this shitty computer? Or, you know, I'm going to get it on PlayStation. What's the difference between PlayStation and PC, or whatever the you know, case may be. So,
yeah. I just hope on a separate subject, kind of in the forum realm, I hope that that's not all these weird rules with the Diablo 4 forums. Like, you know, there's a point in time where, you know, I was reported for like self-promoting, even though like it's a guide at the end of the day. It's the same thing with Reddit. Like if you can't post too many things that are just like your own without like uploading.
Well, it depends. Like there's these weird rules with things too. Cause like, and I've had this conversation with Reddit as well, with some of the Reddit mods, where they're like, you know, I post one of my guides and they're like, oh, it instantly got removed like within a couple minutes. And I'm like, why did you guys repost my guide? I was like, literally Bloodshed posted the same thing at the same time. Like, you know, I think it was a patch note thing, talking about patch notes. And they're like, but Bloodshed's is still there. And it's like, so like once you hit a certain status, like a Riker or a Bloodshed status, you're like immune to the rules at that point. But until that, you're not. And it was really weird, the conversation I had. And it was like, I was like, listen, if you're going to hold people to the standard, then hold everybody to the standard. And if not, then like, I understand you can't have the forums flooded, but like, that's my contribution to Reddit. Like I'm making information or a guide or something that's helping people, and people are going to come to Reddit to look for those things. So they're gonna say I want to look for a guide for something. Reddit's the place to go to.
Sure.
I'm helping contribute, and I don't understand it.
And that's why, like, and I especially don't understand on Reddit, like the forums, whatever. But on Reddit, it doesn't make any sense in particular because, like, it shouldn't be something that people have to monitor at all. Like, if you go, you ThaPChild go post a guide on Reddit and it's shit, people are just gonna downvote it, and it's not gonna get seen anyway. So, like,
right.
Why do you need to monitor whether or not someone's like, self-promoting or advertising? Like, it's just weird to me. But on the forums, it is still very weird because, I mean, you think when you make a guide, whoever you are, you're like, well, I feel like this is helping people. So, like, you post it on the forum, but then, like, the forum's like, like that, that violates the rules.
And to clarify, like, I like Bloodshed. He's really cool. I'm not upset that Bloodshed's on there.
No, fuck that guy. No.
Or that he's got that the in or whatever it is, but it's just like it's just a weird thing that I went through personally with the Diablo Reddit, and then I'm just like, okay, whatever, man. So like I just stopped posting my shit there, and it's like that's fine, like
then they win. You gotta pursue. You gotta just keep going.
It's silly to me. I'm like, okay, like the conversation that I had was with somebody that I even met at BlizzCon, and like they knew me and they seemed like really nice and all this shit. You know what I mean? But it was like the conversation was like I was like just like this doesn't make sense, and here's why. So this person can do it, this person can't, and that's my contribution to the thing. I was like, I still chime in, like, but like your rule is like 9-1. So you want me to get on Reddit and comment on somebody like my first fucking goblin pack ever and be like, yo, really cool, bro. Like you want me to post 9 things like that, and then it's okay. Like it doesn't make sense, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like
weird.
I could, but it's like why?
It's weird too because like by all means, to get around the self promotion thing, like you could just have someone from your community post it for you. It's just like
100%. Yeah.
So why are we even doing this? Why it's just There's a lot of weird things.
I got it, Fluff. Listen, you send me your Lord Fluffy videos. And I'm gonna send you the ThaPChild videos, and then we got it taken care of. Like every time you make a guide, I'd be like, "Yo, Lord Fluffy, put this guide up. It's fucking awesome. Check it out." And then they're like, "I'm not self-promoting, dude."
Yeah, and I'll give your post like some kind of clickbait title, like, "Oh man, that'd be great."
Yeah, like ultimate.
ThaPChild talks shit on Riker, and it's just like a necro guide or something.
Yeah, right. Oh my gosh,
it's genius.
That's so funny, man. That's what we gotta do. Got it, dude.
But yeah, back to the original thing. Huge tangent. Should Blizzard even worry about creating an official Diablo form? So what's your final vote?
I'm going to say yes, unfortunately.
All right, I'm going to say no. We can't agree on anything.
No, that's the way it's got to go.
68% of the vote agrees with you and says yes, we should have an official forum.
I think that they got to have it, unfortunately. Like I hope they don't spend a lot of resources on it. Hopefully their new forum thing is like set up where they can just be like, boom, create a subsection Diablo 4, done, so
hopefully
I hire a couple like low paid interns to manage it,
and maybe that's what what was it 8 months ago now that like some kind of rehashing was done with the Diablo 3 forum, so maybe that was like in preparation.
They made the new one, for these new games,
hopefully
the Diablo Immortal forum. Oh my God. Soon. Yeah. Too soon?
Yeah, Immortals in chat. All right. So the poll for next week will be a little topical based on one of the subjects I saw on Reddit this week. If Diablo 4 endgame itemization was runes and rune words from Diablo 2, would you be happy with that? Hell yes, runes, or not enough juice?
Okay.
We'll post that in chat so you guys can vote.
Yeah, go vote on it.
That's it.
So we have some data.
Yeah.
We need the data.
I'll try to post before next week.
Yeah. Well, the audio version hopefully was up so people could listen to that if they were like, what the hell is going on?
I did get that up there. There's a weird thing too is I had it upload like Wednesday last week. I just like didn't publish it like the whole time. Yeah. Anyways. But yeah, so moving on to Diablo 3 news.
Yeah, man.
Lack thereof.
Really? Yeah, where's the juice? All right, man. I have been asked every single day for the last at least 2 weeks. When are we going to get patch notes? When are we going to get patch notes? I kind of thought maybe today would be the first day
Me
that
too,
we could
me
get some
too.
patch notes.
Mhm.
So I was kind of stalking Blizzard's Twitter today a little bit. I kept refreshing it every now and then. Nothing. Um, obviously, man, I think it's going to be a while. I just have this feeling it's not even close. I think we still got like another month.
Really?
That's
I
just my
mean,
gut. I think we got a month, man.
from a very selfish perspective, that excites me because
Mhm.
that
You
would
get to
mean,
play more Path of Exile.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, yeah. Have you? All right, well, I'll get into that later. Hold on, I got to write a note down because there's something else that's like
Okay, okay.
I don't want to forget.
I
Okay.
see it.
So yeah, man, a month. So it's gonna be an interesting rollout. Uh, let's say if it drops next week, because I don't think we're gonna get it this week. It should have probably happened today if we were. I mean, sometimes they release notes on Wednesdays, but so if we get it next week, then the earliest they could get it in, there's going to be a week of we get notes. Let's just say next Tuesday they got the notes and we got the PTR in the same week. Super unlikely, but let's just say that happened.
I mean, that's how they've been doing it. It was like the Tuesday and then the Thursday we get
Then
it.
the Thursday it rolls out.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's just say that happens next week. Then we get 2 weeks of PTR, right?
Which
So that
they
puts us 3 weeks out.
made it sound like we would get more in the future.
Extended, right? So let's say we get 2 weeks of PTR, and then they take PTR down to make changes. So then they take another week off. So that's a month out. And then they put PTR back up again for another week so we could test round 2 of changes.
I don't think that they would take PTR down. I think that they would
they just leave it up the whole time and they
yeah.
not fix it
Mm-hmm.
the whole time or patch it the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be interesting. So let's say we get 3 weeks of PTR and a week announcement. So we're at least a month away at minimum. And like I said, I think that's early-ish.
Yeah, and like I said last week, it will be exactly a month because I will be on vacation. So October 9th, I leave. So that will be the season start day. Mark it in your calendars.
Okay. And then, hold on. Chat's talking about this blue post. I missed it. I just pulled it
I got it. It's in the
you got
schedule.
it? Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So 4 weeks to 5 weeks out?
Yeah,
I mean,
at least, yeah. So
that's good because so league the PoE league is next Friday, right? Not this coming
yeah,
Friday,
that's
but
right.
next, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that would give you at least a minimum of 2 weeks playtime.
Well, then there's
I would say
PTR
it's
though,
5
and
to 6.
PTR is,
Yeah, but
maybe more exciting than the
there's not
season
gonna be
start.
any necro changes, so you don't care, do you?
Shut the fuck up. Bro, there's going to be some necro juice.
There is no
a
necro
balance patch, so guess who's very unbalanced in all the classes? That would be the necro, by the way.
Every
in case
class?
you didn't know.
Every class?
I feel like necro's got the worst because
balance?
none of our sets are usable in the end game. Like
Wizard's pretty shit right now too. I made a Wiz, so I wanted to play around on Wiz the other day, and I was just, like, let's do something new. I made a wizard, and literally in less than 2 hours was on leaderboard. From the time I created the character until the time it took 2 hours, and it was like, this is crazy. Nobody's playing it, and it's easy why nobody's playing it because the T16 build sucks. It's slow as dirt. Like especially after you play the God DH set, you get on the wizard, and you're just like, oh my gosh, this is the slowest shit I've ever seen. And it's the best. Like I'm like, this is the best build, and this is garbage. The Hydra set I didn't even want to make. It's a Lon Hydra set, so you have to fish up all the gear. And then the Veers Chantoto is the same build we've always played, and it's underpowered comparatively. So I don't know, man.
Yeah,
Wizards down there though, for sure. So.
Yes. Yeah, but yeah, I don't know. It's tough. It's tough to say who's like in the worst spot for sure. Like across the classes.
Mm-hmm. We should rank them for next time.
We should.
It'd be interesting to see if our lists match up.
Yeah.
So, but back to the MIA stuff. Like I don't know. I hope that we get some news. I just personally feel like I think it's a good thing. I think the longer we go without patch notes, the better patch we're gonna get. I feel like Blizzard really wants to give us a good patch this time. I feel like, Adam said they're gonna do a big balance patch. That's gotta be a little comforting. And that would take more time, potentially in Corona on top of that. Maybe it takes even more time. So I don't know, man. If it's another 3 to 4 weeks before we even get patch notes, I feel like that's a good thing, not a bad thing.
Yeah, I concur. But again, I have to think about it from this perspective of players that just like Diablo, and so I would say that feels bad. But from a very selfish perspective, spreading out the time between PoE and Diablo starts is like it's a win-win. I feel like for everyone, but. But on the subject of Dreamboat Adam, he posted quarterly blog. PTR is still a bit further down. So the original post is when are we going to get the update? Quarterly update. So probably they'll sneak it in right at the end of September or really.
Is the quarter? So they were supposed to get it in. This is going to be quarter 3.
This will be quarter 3. Yeah.
Yeah, and quarter 3 ends at the end of this month. So we'll get it on the 30th, which is the 29th is a Tuesday. So we'll probably get it on the 29th would be my guess.
Is that? I'm trying to remember.
The 30th is the last day. Was it a
Tuesday, the last quarterly update, I guess? I don't remember.
I don't know. Yeah, but Wednesday's the 30th, so it'll be one of those 2 days. We'll get it in, So.
Yeah.
But then him saying that PTR is still a bit further down just is more
further down.
I still think we're...
What a precise measurement of time.
Yeah. That's Diablo.
Yeah, that's Diablo slang.
That's Diablo soon, chat. So, yeah, it's interesting, man. We'll see.
Yeah.
So what's this? Are we going to get to the thing that he had said, or is that it? The blue post?
That's it. That is all it. Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting.
So also Diablo 3, I don't have a clip or anything like that because it's happening all over the place. But once again, we find ourselves in the boat of just like Killstreak season. ZDBS classes are 150 solo clearing. How do you feel about that?
I mean, I would have cared, but at this point, I don't anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. How are they even cheesing it? Like, who has got the time to figure out how to cheese the seasonal theme?
Lots of people.
Like, I don't, you know what I mean? Like, you got to get kills to get the kill streak up. And if you're playing a Z character, how are you getting the kills in the first place to get the streak up and not lose the streak? I don't know. It's clever use of mechanics. I guess it's cool that these guys have time to figure it out and like mess with and care enough to figure it out. I personally wouldn't. I don't know. My brain doesn't work that way. My brain doesn't think like, let's figure out how to exploit this. Is that something that like if you were playing, is this something that you would try to figure out if you were playing Diablo like all the time?
I mean, obviously, one of the reasons I still play Diablo to date is, for those PTR patches and like coming up with new stuff based on what they give us. And so, I mean, maybe as a part of that, I would stumble upon something like that, but I wouldn't like actively go out of my way to like thinking of something like, oh, well, I'll go with a group into my GR, but then like they'll leave and they'll go kill stuff. Like I would never do that. I would just be like, what kind of combinations can I put together? Or what can I do to cheese my build a little bit more or something like that? But I don't think I would ever, I don't know. If something feels like an exploit to me, like I probably would stay away from it just because like, I don't need to give Blizzard a reason to ban me.
Or do you?
No.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like I would have cared many seasons ago. At this point, like I don't care because it seems like every PC game is just riddled with cheaters, man. I can't play any game without effing cheaters these days, and it makes me lose my mind. Fall Guys, full of cheaters. Brand new game, just came out. You can't even get wins on PC these days because people just hack it. They're flying around everywhere. Destiny 2, cheaters. I mean, it's insane. The cheats they have in Destiny 2 are ridiculous. Apex Legends. I got killed the other day in a game, and I see this dude hit like some crazy shot on me, and I'm like, what the hell? And so I watched him afterwards. He was aim snapping to people. Like he's like flicking, like 100% hardcore. What else? Like every game, every single PC game I play, obviously Diablo, we don't even have to hit that one. has cheaters in it, and it's
Yeah.
like I don't understand. Are the guys that are developing these hack programs that fucking talented, or are the tools that the developers are using, like, is it the Source engine, or is it the Unreal engine, or like how are they getting these cheats in every single game?
I
You know
have
what I
an
mean?
even better question. So you have the time and the drive and the expertise to basically cheat at a game, and so you've made like a one shot mod for Valorant, or like an auto
Yeah.
lock on sort of thing, or glass walls or whatever, right? But you applied yourself to modding Fall Guys. Like what has what
Yeah.
has life done to you that you feel like I need to cheat at fucking Fall Guys?
Yeah, or Apex, or any game
Well, I
in
mean, those
general.
games like, well, I'm like, the top league in Apex, and there's like some
Fall Guys
prestige.
is the same. It's just
No, it's
for
not.
kids. It is. It's like a BR for kids, man. It totally is. And for like
Ugh.
adults that just want to that like minions and stuff. Like I get it if you don't like Fall Guys. I get it if you do like Fall Guys. Like I've played maybe actually hold on, I'll check my Steam account and see. It's not a lot. Like I have Fall Guys and it's okay. I've played it 2.7 hours. Okay. Like it's fun for 30 minutes. For a
Yeah,
couple
it's
games,
like a
it's
fun
fun.
little game, but you would never
Yeah.
ever like, I have to
No.
win, therefore I must cheat. Like it's
No,
not
I
that kind
wouldn't
of
do that
game.
in any game though. I would like
Sure.
my mentality is all like, okay, here's an example. Like we played Apex Legends and I sucked. And I'm like, all right, it would be fun to play with Fluff and at least be on par so we can like compete, right? So instead of being like, I'm gonna cheat, I went and fucking started doing aim trainers and playing the shit out of the game to get better at it. You know what I'm saying? It's like that's more the mentality I have. Is like, okay, I suck at the game, let's play it and get better. Not let's go fucking get a cheat program. But yeah, it's to me, it's like if you have the skills to code that program in the first place, aren't you good enough to get a job somewhere like making decent money? Like you would think you'd be okay, right? You know?
I would hope, or maybe like, I don't know. There's a lot of people out there that they just don't have it.
That's their hobby. They just like being dicks. Like I don't
Well,
under,
not being dicks, but they just like they don't have. I mean, to really compete at a high level, like 99% of players can't really, but
yeah.
that
So
gives them the ability to.
but why would they give it away then? Why would they sell it? Why would not just keep it for yourself and then you're the god? Like you're Shroud. If you never give your cheat program away, then you're Shroud. You know what I mean?
Sure, but then money.
I guess.
There's money.
I don't know, man. It's crazy. Anyways, to loop back around, no, I don't really care because it seems like there's nothing they can do about the bots. Um, but it seems like no PC game can do anything about the bots, and it makes me lose my mind. That's what honestly pushes me to play console game. If console games could get high frame rate, honestly, man, like I mean, I know there's hacks on console too, but they're less prevalent than
And you say
PC.
that, but like I can't help but remember my time as a Halo Pro, which I never talk about, and how insane that game was compared to any game I've ever played. Like Halo 2 was
So
a
what did they
fucking
use?
joke.
What did they use in Halo 2? What did they have?
They had everything. Like
Like they
literally.
had wall hacks
Wall
and
hacks,
aimbots and
aimbots, you could
really?
jump and you
Okay.
would like go outside of the
Yeah.
map, and then you could just still like one shot snipe people, headshots no matter what. And
And
like it
maybe I
was
got to do
insane.
more research because I'm curious if like PlayStation 4 Apex has cheaters or PlayStation, whatever game that you're into, like whatever BR is Valorant on console? Imagine it's
No,
got
I
to
don't
be.
think so.
You don't think it is?
Mm-mm.
Shit, everything's on console these
But
days for the kid money,
it's
man.
like the Counter-Strike competitor, right?
Yeah, but it's free money. Like
Yeah.
man,
Would that
kids.
translate to console? I don't know. It's like a Twitch
I think
shooter.
console makes more money for Epic than PC does
Mm,
with all the kids playing it, but I don't know. Maybe not.
I don't know.
So people are saying it's worse on console than PC. Or console on Diablo. Yeah, Diablo's a whole different ballpark of like, holy shit.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that's a perfect example because I think that it's just
Yeah.
easier
Maybe
on
you're right.
console.
Yeah. It's weird, man. Like I don't know. I need this next gen consoles to like step their game up somehow. I don't know how. But like,
I don't think, here's the thing, and we talk about this all the time, but you're never gonna win. So it's like it's a valiant effort by Valorant to try to be like, oh, we're not gonna have cheaters in our game. We're gonna crack down on them. They're not winning that battle. And then like at the same time, you know, the next iteration of Diablo, like just embrace the fact, like basically Path of Exile has, is you're gonna lose the battle. Like eventually, like, you know, the bots are just gonna reign free and like multiply and prosper.
so how does PoE embrace it?
Because it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Like the amount of gain you can get by botting at the game is relatively low. Right?
Well, it depends. It depends on your game. But if we're gonna talk D4, then I could see that. Like
Right.
a FPS, like aim lock and box and stuff. That's
Yeah, I don't know how you
crazy.
get around aim
I don't
botting,
know how
but
you get around that. But like for Diablo 4 though, so Diablo 4 is a gear, it's gonna be a gear grind.
Mhm.
So if the bot can grind your gear, you already have a huge advantage.
Right.
So
Well, okay, let me ask you this, because
that's why they're like no leaderboards, maybe. You know what I'm saying?
Sure, but let me ask you this: as a World of Warcraft player, are bots? I mean, grinding gold. You know, obviously,
No.
is still probably a thing in
Gold
World of
gives you an
Warcraft.
advantage, but gold can't buy you gear. And WoW, you have to earn the gear by doing raids or by doing high level competitive PvP, and you have to play that.
So
to do
is botting? I mean, I'm sure it is 100% a thing, but like, is there
it's a thing.
advantages, or what? How do people using it to their advantage?
For gold, it's all for currency. So I guess what you could do, if like the worst case scenario in my opinion in WoW would be you use the bot to farm materials, to sell the materials to get gold. You took the gold and bought carries to get the gear. You know what I'm saying? So the bot would still benefit you, but you're not getting the gear without actually playing the character. The bot is not playing the character to get the gear. You have to do it, or somebody is doing it on your account. Now, let's say that you go buy a full set of raid gear, mythic raid gear, right? That's going to cost you 1,000,000 gold. Like your bot's going to work its ass off to make you that 1,000,000 gold, and it's a high risk of being banned. If they completely ignored it altogether and let bots go crazy, then the market, the economy is fucked up for the normal Joe like me or you that's playing the game. And we go try like, oh, hey man, I got an hour. I'm gonna go farm some ore to get to sell in the auction house to make money. Well, your ore is not worth anything because there's 100 million bots out there mining it all day anyways. So you have to think of more clever ways to make your money. So it does screw the economy up and things. And PoE has that too, right?
100%.
Like when the price, the price of exalts or whatever just drops, our chaos orbs or whatever they're using, right?
Right.
Just drops out. But I don't know. I think that's the lesser of two evils.
But
you know what I mean?
but it is like what you said. So like Path of Exile, yeah, like if you just set up a bot, it's gonna farm, it's gonna get chaos orbs, it's gonna get maybe some exalted orbs, and that stuff has a lot of value and it's really good. But ultimately, like you're gonna sell like a 500 exalt item if you like made it and worked hard and did it yourself. Like the bot's not gonna, even if the bot grinded all league, it probably couldn't get the amount of currency that you did from one item.
Right.
So it is that like
so WoW doesn't really work that way. Like you're not, I mean, you could get a lucky drop maybe, but it's super rare to happen and then make some gold that way. But I could see that in Diablo 4. Like if you only get your gear from doing in-game activities that are too complex for a bot's logic to handle, then yes. But like the way Diablo 3 works is your bot can get you, like you have the same chance to get a primal doing T10 as you do doing T16. Now I know there's probably some differences in the magic finder, whatever the fuck. But if you just put your bot on and you let it go for 3 weeks, you're gonna come back to primals. You know what I mean? In T10. So I think that there needs to be a correlation to the quality of the gear you get from the difficulty of the activity you're doing, and then make the good shit come from activities that a bot couldn't do.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
But at the same time too, you know, if you look at Path of Exile from a botting perspective, every league they're adding a brand new end game activity, and that's probably going to take those cheaters basically, you know, that whole league to figure out how can we bot this effectively,
how can we manipulate this,
and then by the next league it's like it's not as important because the new league is already out, and so they're going to have to start all over again. So I mean there is that too. Obviously, the
Yeah.
bot could just go into maps and probably do that effectively and get some currency here and there, but it is pretty smart. I mean,
Have they mapped out like the most efficient farms on Reddit? I'm sure if I go to Reddit, there's a diagram where it tells you to put every single plant to get like max
Oh yeah, of course.
max juice.
Within
You know what I
weeks of the league.
Yeah, it's like here's the maximum juice based on my spreadsheet calculations. You'll get one extra plant.
I'd love that shit. I think that's dope that people are like that passionate, that
man.
super into the planting.
It's always cool to have the information that to dive into. You know what blows my mind is like these guys that do the crazy theory crafting, even in Diablo. Like Diablo's math is so effed up. It's like, wait, does this add, multiply? Like, how is this coefficient stacking with the rest of my gear? And the people that are doing the calculations to like figure out exactly like, okay, well, this combination is the best damage because there's no real way to monitor damage in Diablo 3. You don't have
you actually have to do the numbers, right?
You don't have test dummies, you don't have damage meters, you don't have any in-game tools to test like, am I doing more or less or equal damage with this setup? And so that's always kind of been a frustration point to me with Diablo. And how would you feel about those things in Diablo 4? I think the benefits to not having those things are I don't feel like you feel as inclined to min-max every single thing ever in life. You're not like, oh, this is like 0.0005 DPS less. I'm not using it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like
but the benefit is you don't know that.
I guess
or the downside.
To min-max in Diablo 3 is much less exciting than min-maxing in PoE, I think, because like, you know, at any given moment, especially as an SSF player, like the amount of an upgrade you're going to get is pretty big. But at the same time too, it's like with making a Path of Exile build, it's not only discovering, okay, well, this is going to give me 0.0001% more damage, but like weighing that against all the other options for that slot. Whereas in Diablo 3, it's like, well, it's a bracer, so, I mean, what can I really do? I can get poison and attack speed, lacunic prowlers, I guess, you know, like, so it's really not a ton of, like, theory crafting to do there, which is unfortunate. So, min-maxing feels good, and I love
what if they had damage meters in D4? How would you feel? If you're in a party and you're doing a dungeon, and let's just say at the end of the dungeon, there's no damage meter, but at the end of the dungeon, when you killed the boss and a splash screen pops up saying, good job, you killed the boss. And then it tells you like Fluff did 55% of the damage to that boss. ThaPChild did 45% damage. And, you know, whoever else did like 5%.
Yeah.
And you'd be like, what the fuck were you doing?
I mean,
you know,
Lost Ark does
damage?
that. Yeah.
I know. So like, how would you feel about that? I personally have seen it in Lost Ark, and I think it's cool because I think it personally gives you a reason to try harder in the dungeon. I'm like, oh shit, we're on the boss. I gotta get some damage in, so I'm number one. I want to be number one.
Or like, you know, you and I played Diablo 4 together, and they've got the splash screen up at the end of the thing, and like you're consistently just like 20% of the damage, and I'm just, and over like 2 weeks, I'm it's like building up. I'm like, motherfucker, dude. Like, uphold your weight in this goddamn group. What are you doing?
What are you doing?
Yeah,
right.
I think that's
I think it's
a good
cool.
thing. It's a learning opportunity. Obviously, there's going to be the elitists out there that are like, get the fuck out, guild kick. But I mean, I think it's a great thing if they had it.
I think it's cool too, and I hope that they have numbers like that for things. But I don't want a damage meter that's real time. I want it to show at the end of the activity. And I think the reason for that is if it's at the end of the activity, at least you're not going to get kicked probably in the middle of the activity. So like, let's say I go in a random group of people and me and somebody else, we're doing like, 80% of the damage and that one person is doing 20. You probably already realize they're doing 20, but maybe you're not 100% sure. And at the end of the dungeon, you see like they only did 20% damage or 10% damage. And you're like, man, F this guy. I'm going to dip out. You just leave the group and you probably get a new group. You don't kick them in the middle and then they're just out of their loot or whatever. So I like it, man. I hope they do something like that. But
yeah, they should.
I don't know. We'll see what endgame activities we get, man. All we know are dungeons so far. So
yeah.
What do you think the chances are we're going to have greater rifts in Diablo 4?
I mean, I think it's here's the thing. Obviously, rifts and greater rifts were a great base game. We say that all the time.
It's a great idea.
And everyone was a little salty that we never got anything to build upon that, right? Because it was, I think, a great base. I think if Diablo 4 comes out and they label anything like Rift or Greater Rift, it's dangerous. It's so dangerous.
They can't call it that. They can't. They can't. Yeah, they definitely can't call it that. But they could still have the same mechanics. They could have dungeons that are randomized dungeons, and then.
Well, that's what they have already, right?
I know, but no. Well, are they random?
Yeah.
Or are they static? I thought.
No, they're random.
Are they static maps? Are they random maps?
The outworld is static. The dungeons are dynamic.
You can call an apple whatever you want. It's still an apple at the end of the day. So if they're gonna put greater rifts in the game in some facet and call it something else,
well, then they wouldn't be really greater rifts because, like, greater rifts revolve around the idea of like you have 15 minutes to finish this thing. Go.
So a time-based activity where you go into the time-based activity, you kill till you get a certain percentage, it spawns a boss, and then you win if you do it in time. I mean, that's a greater rift, right?
That is a greater rift. Yeah.
Yeah. So do you think we'll have that in D4?
I mean, they already said no. Basically, okay. There might be an objective on like your dungeon key that like you have to do it in X amount of time, maybe. Yeah. But it sounds like they're kind of steering away from that because maybe they know that that's too much like Diablo 3. I don't know. They seem to want it to be like Diablo 3 at the same time, so I don't know.
Think they're gonna have raids in there?
What raid? Like a WoW raid?
Like a raid, yeah.
I mean, from what
multiplayer groups of Lost Ark does it, which is MMO. It's straight MMO style. You know what I mean? I mean, it's different. Like Lost Ark is more like a monster hunter, but they call it a raid. You're going in with multiple people and killing a boss or killing multiple bosses.
Would you call a Guardian raid from Lost Ark a raid? I wouldn't.
I personally wouldn't. I would call it more of like a monster hunter.
It's just like a group. It's like a dungeon.
It's like it's a boss kill.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Basically.
So yes, I would expect that, but a raid from like World of Warcraft and Diablo 4, absolutely not. I would not expect that at all.
A multi-boss like dungeon style experience.
Well, no, I'm talking about the group size. That's what I think. No,
so what do you think the group size?
Well, isn't a raid is just like a dungeon, but with more people. That's really all it is.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. So if the group size is going to be 4, have they confirmed that it's going to be 4? They did. Okay, so 4 people. So like, you think they'll have 6, 8, an 8-person dungeon?
I don't think that they will.
Oh. Yeah. I don't know. I don't think they will either because they want people. I think people are so pissed off about being able to play solo.
Yeah.
They don't want any interaction with other people, so I don't think they'll do it for that reason. So I think it's kind of a missed opportunity though, because I do think that the boss kill raids from Lost Ark are kind of cool. I actually like it. I think it's. I don't like their implementation 100%.
Yeah.
No, it's not a raid, but they call it a raid in Lost Ark, so that's what I'm going to call it. I said it's a boss kill.
You could have that without having to enforce groups, though. Like you can solo that content in Lost Ark.
Yeah, it'd be hard as F to do some of the higher tiers, from what I understand.
Well, right, because there's no training mode in higher tiers, but like you could keep the training mode and then problem solved.
Yeah. I think they should have. I hope they have something like that for endgame.
Yeah, I agree. We said time and time again that that's a great formula for Diablo 4 is to have the Guardian raids from Lost Ark.
Yep. What else we got?
We got this one thing. Yeah, it's totally off the wall thing.
So I was on Reddit today, and I saw that somebody had done some research and found out that the narrative creators, the guys who are writing the story, are on the story team for Diablo 4, were guys that were from CD Projekt Red, and they worked on Witcher 3 and Cyberpunk 2077 to help write some of the story for those guys, for those games. And it's like, man, Witcher 3 is gotta be one of the most loved video games of all time. Like everybody. Who? Witcher 3? What? You don't know Witcher 3? Oh, I'm just joking. You clearly know Witcher 3.
I know of it. Yes.
Everybody loves Witcher 3, man. I can't tell you how many people have been like, that's my favorite game of all time. I'm like, really? Like, yep. Like, and I'm not bullshit, man. Crazy amounts of people tell me that. So they love the story. And I played Witcher 3 a little. I mean, maybe 30 hours of Witcher 3. Not a crazy amount. I didn't complete the story at all. I don't think I was even close. And it was good. It was a good game. Lots of crazy amounts of lore. I mean, like a lore nut would just get lost. There's like a library where you can just go read lore in the game. I'm like, who does this? But I guess people do. So
Yeah.
a
Well, it's like
plus.
the World of
So
Warcraft red shirt guy, right?
I know I'm talking to like the anti-campaign guy here, right? So
I love
I'll
lore.
let you
What are
play
talking about?
devil's advocate. I think a good narrative story would be a plus for the game. So
I
don't care.
agree.
What?
However, listen, like this is the part that we always get stuck on, right? Like obviously, if Diablo 4 comes out and it's got a campaign, there's gonna be a lot of players that are drawn to that.
Mm-hmm.
But again, from a very selfish point of view, I don't care about those players that are just coming to Diablo 4 to play the campaign one time.
I'm with you. I agree
Those
with that.
players don't drive the game that we're going to play for hours and hours and hours and like help get content for that. You know what I mean? So
No, I agree. I do think that's a very valid point.
if it sells copies of the game and that's going to give us more money so that we can get more content later on, okay, sure. Campaign it up, dude. Let's go. But ultimately, I think that, having endgame stuff and things to do and like, activities is more important. But
Mm-hmm.
it is the Diablo universe and people love their story.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of it. That's just, people, they got some good writers in the team, is what this guy had researched and found out. And I don't know if these guys were like super contributors to the amazing story of Witcher. And I assume the amazing story of Cyberpunk, we'll have to see when it releases. But it's, Blizzard's got, they pulled in some big people. I mean, the Gears of War 5 director guy for Diablo also, like, I mean, that franchise did really well underneath him. So I didn't. Have you played a Gears game? I don't think I've even played one.
No.
I haven't played one either, but I've heard good things. Someday maybe I'll try one.
I do
So
like third person, I don't mind third person shooter. I think it's nice sometimes, but I don't know. The Gears, I could never really get behind. It's always seemed like really gimmicky with like the chainsaw and all that stuff. And
I thought
the
I
PvP
kind of
was
thought so too, but
a joke.
sometimes that'd be fun. I think PvP is like such a controversial topic with Diablo 4, and some people either are like, oh, it doesn't belong in the game, and then there's people. I think we're on the same boat where we both want it to be super successful, because I think that's the ultimate in-game content. Personally, it's like
I think it's one of those. Yeah, for sure.
It's like if you can get it right, it's one of the things that's just like infinitely replayable.
Yeah,
for hours and hours and hours, and it keeps it front and fresh. So I hope that they nail that too.
For sure.
What? Oh, the other thing I saw is this lady was asking. She posted in the D3 forum saying like, "Hey, I want to get my husband a present for his birthday or anniversary or something." And she says, "What game would you guys recommend that's most like Diablo 3?" And that made me think. I'm like, man, how would I answer this question? And how, honestly, I clicked the topic because I wanted to see how many people said PoE. Because to me, I'm like, that's a horrible choice. But
yeah, we're trying to get the most similar to Diablo 3 of all ARPGs that are out there.
What would you pick?
Minecraft Dungeons.
That's fucking what I was gonna say. Are you serious? Are you serious? You're not serious. I literally was gonna say Minecraft Dungeons. I'm not joking.
I was saying to be a little toxic, and you're actually gonna say it? Yeah.
No, I really was gonna say it, dude. So like, here's the thing, man. There's insider info that I have that I didn't give you yet, is that he plays it on console. So she's asking for a console version also. And so to me, did they made Dungeons on console, didn't they?
Oh yeah.
I don't know. Did they? I think I don't know. So to me, I'm thinking like literally Minecraft Dungeons, So but in seriousness though, it's a little jest in there, but a little serious too. But I would say I don't even know, man. Honestly, I don't know.
If we're on the PC, I mean, I still give 100% third best ARPG in the market still for NA is Grim Dawn. 100%.
Is it? I haven't
Without
played Grim
question.
Dawn.
You've never played Grim Dawn?
I haven't played Grim Dawn, no.
You're a full-time streamer now. Get on it. Get it done.
Get on some grind on.
Yeah.
So,
and why are you not rank 1 on the leaderboard, by the way? You're full time.
I just don't, I don't care. I don't care, man. I don't care about leaderboards anymore. I'm done. Dude. I'm done with it, dude. I mean, I got on leaderboard in 2 hours. Does that count?
No.
Does that count as something?
No, it doesn't.
Count? Okay. Sorry, man. I'll try harder.
Yeah, thanks.
I'll try hard. You know what I did do? I actually broke Diablo 3 out on my Switch. I was like, well, let's play this.
Just
man.
stop.
I know. No. It's an interesting thing. It's an interesting thing. It's not the same game.
It's an interesting thing. What does that mean?
It's not the same game, but it's the same game. It's so hard to describe. Like, it's the same game. Like, I know the builds and I know how the things work, but it doesn't work the same. It's not the same game. It looks the same, and the sets are the same, and the mechanics are very similar, but it's just not like that. When you play it on a Switch and then you play it on PC, the experience is so drastically different. It's like you're playing a whole different game, but it's not a different game. It's the same game. It's that's the only way I can describe it. And it's
I don't really know. I still haven't really played console besides sitting on the couch at Double BlizzCon and nerfing the belt myself. That's my only console experience.
Well, listen, all right, you guys want the real story? What happened?
Mm-hmm.
We're playing it.
Don't expose me, bro.
I took the Crusader. I think Bloodshed took the Monk. Fluff is like, I want this bar belt, but the bar belt really wasn't nerfed, right? Fluff's like, Frankie, come here, dude.
Yep.
He's like, what the hell is this? Are you trying to make Necro the worst class in the game? Nerf the belt right now.
Yeah.
And so Frankie did it.
Yep. And I called Matt over. I said, nerf this belt wicked hard.
Wicked hard.
Got it done.
He got it done. Oh my God. All right. You were never getting invited to anything ever again. So that's it, man. That's all the Diablo juice I
it's
had.
not.
There's more Diablo juice? What do we have?
Okay. We don't talk about this shit a lot because, I mean, it's not really something that interests me. But we went to BlizzCon 2018, the infamous year, and there was that guy. You remember, like, the guy in the Anarius gear, and we're like, oh my God, like that, dude. Even if you're not like a cosplayer nerd,
it was super.
It was like, wow, this guy, like, that's pretty cool. At the end of the day, it's pretty cool. And so I saw another one on Reddit today, and I gotta say, like, this one's pretty dope too. They made this like that Crusader shield basically. Yeah, it's got the smoke coming out of it, and it's all lit up and shit. Like,
that is so much work.
That's so much work.
So much work and so much time. Like, I hope somebody decides to date him because of that shield in a nastier way. You know what I'm saying?
It might be a female, but
or her.
Wow,
yeah, that might
sexist.
Be a female. I can't. I'm looking at the shield, man. I don't know. I hope somebody dates her for the shield. You know what I mean? Like, listen. What's your name? You're pretty cute. So, that's it.
Yeah, I'm always interested by that. Like, it's very rare that we pick one to even talk about. Did you get a picture
with the Anarius guy?
I did, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like it was the Anarius dude was probably, honestly, the Lilith from last BlizzCon was probably the best cosplay I've ever seen.
Shit, yeah.
It was some ridiculous cosplay, and they like played the part too. They didn't just dress up like it. They literally acted creepy as fuck the whole time. Like, almost like they were all up, like, on you, like touching you. And I was just like, get off me, please. Yeah. Like, the one time she came on, I'm like, don't, like, I don't want you on me, man. Like, you're in my space. So it was cool though. It was a sick cosplay thing.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I would have had so many jokes ready to go if she was up there while I was streaming.
Oh man,
it'd been great. But yeah, so there's that, and then I also wanted to touch on obviously what we made the poll about this week, where this guy, this obvious D2 fanboy, gets on Reddit and he says, D2 rune words are the best loot system of any ARPG. It should be an industry standard by now. Do you remember runes enough to even talk about
I
this?
mean, very basic, but not a. I haven't played Diablo 2 in like 20 years, man. So like, no, I don't remember them the way Diablo 2 implemented them, but I know that you had like your things and you could combine them to make different spells and effects, right?
Mhm.
Like you would get one and then you slot it with something else and it makes a completely different effect based on what you throw together. Is the basic premise, right?
You combine them, and so his 4 points of why it's like the best system of all time is one is clutter avoidance, because you can eventually like combine them, and there's
Okay,
drop
that's a
rates
shit.
according to each rune or whatever.
I don't
Two,
like that reason. Okay, next.
two, it's a steady feeling of progression. So like when you get a shit rune, like you can still combine those runes eventually, and it's like gems almost in Diablo 3, where like you get a bunch of shit gems, you can make a good gem.
You
Right?
can upgrade them. Yeah. Okay, that's lame too. But okay, I'm with you though.
Three is while farming is fun. Many games address the above issue, having more determinate loot systems. Blah 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 blah. Runes are fun because certain runes are rarer than others. Okay, that's neat.
Every piece of loot is rarer than others. Like that's what the rare loot is. Okay. Like,
Well,
I'm not
yes,
trying to crap on his
sometimes. Sure.
idea, but okay. I'm just saying like,
Yeah, to play a devil's like I get.
yeah, I get it.
Four, keep player autonomy. So, trade basically. You can trade runes. The one you can trade for runes you
You
don't
could
have,
technically
runes that you want.
trade here too. I don't think those are valid points why rune words are good though. Those are things that you can do with any kind of loot. You could trade any piece of loot if you wanted to. PoE, for example. You can trade everything in PoE, right? Um, you can like combining things to make something better so everything has value.
Yeah,
I mean,
PoE
that's
does
kind
that.
of cool, I guess, but everything kind of you can dismantle or sell or get rid of things. You know what I mean? To get materials in almost every game. So
Yeah, I would love. I don't know, man. I would love to see like a hard, like a Mr. Llama battle out itemization versus like a Rise QT or a Mathel or something like that, where like they know the inside and out of all things itemization and Path of Exile, which I do to an I mean, I feel like I really do, but those guys are on like a whole nother level, right?
right.
So yeah, I mean, it's so hard to think of a world
I
where
think it's a good system though.
yeah, I mean, it's okay. I mean, honestly, I don't
Yeah.
even say it's a good system. Really, it doesn't. I don't think it holds the test of time. But and everything that this guy likes about basically runes, I mean, he's basically describing currency in Path of
Yeah.
Exile. So
That's kind of what it seems like to me too. It's like you're describing ideologies, not really rune words. Like you want gear to be useful no matter what. Well, then it gets destroyed into some valuable currency somehow. You know what I mean? That
yeah,
can add up. You want player autonomy, like would trade anything.
sure.
Like boom.
Like you
You know?
literally trade up currency, just like he's talking about here. It's like you can
Yeah.
trade. You could trade 1 billion alterations for like an exalt or something like that. Like it's
Yeah.
definitely how that works.
So, but it's combining different things that you get in the game to make randomized spell effects and spells and things like that's cool. Like I don't have a problem with that being in the game. I think it should probably be in the game somehow in some way. Especially if it's going to have drastic effects. And the cool thing about that is maybe in future seasons they can randomize those effects, so we don't even know what the combinations do, and we have to experiment and find them out for ourselves. That to me is kind of the ultimate when you're like throwing shit together and you're like, "What's this gonna make?" And then it's like, "Oh, that's really cool." You know what I mean? Like this
I
is
will say the thing I definitely like way more about Path of Exile. Obviously, I think currency is great when you compare the two systems. Like, obviously, there could be a system that's way better than both. But if we're comparing, Diablo 3 to PoE, you get blood shards when you finish a GR, and then you roll random slots for a
yeah.
piece of gear, which is so simplistic in nature. Versus, in PoE, you could pick up gear, you could sell that gear, and eventually you'll get currency to craft on a base that you would like. So there's a lot more control, I feel, with PoE currency. Like you sell a bunch of stuff over time, and say you have a ton of blood shards, you could kind of deterministically, skillfully use those blood shards on a slot that you would like, determined on like the base that you use them on, versus like Diablo, you're like literally, I'm just rolling shoulders, and because I'm trying to get,
a specific one.
yeah,
I'm trying to get ancient
shoulders, right?
shoulder.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which is so,
Yeah.
blah at the end of the day.
And that's the reason that Diablo 3 only holds your attention for such a short period of time. And that's not a knock on the game. That's just the way it is now. It's like the game on a season launch, you get a solid 2 weeks of playtime, a solid month if you want to drag it out. You know what I mean? But after 2 weeks, like you've got what you need, and it's a super fun 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But it's a simple system. And it's a super beginner noob friendly system, and I think that's why so many people gravitate to the game, because they can jump in and play it. And that's, I think, what scares people away from PoE. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
And maybe even myself, like I said, I'm gonna play the heist league, and this will be like the 3rd league I've played, or the 4th league, and maybe my past knowledge I have will keep building every time I play, and maybe eventually I'll grow some love for it like you guys have. But I don't know, man. I don't know if that's the reason why it doesn't feel super good to me, because it's too complex. And I would hate that to happen in Diablo 4 also, though. Like, I don't want. That's the biggest complaint. Like, so when I was the thing that kind of started this whole conversation was that wife was asking for her husband what game she should get, and the people that recommended PoE instantly on Reddit were like, "Oh my god, PoE is like going to make his brain melt if he's playing Diablo on a console. He's not gonna enjoy his time and blah 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 blah." And like, well, you don't really know that. This dude could fucking love it. You know what I mean? And be like, "Oh, this complexity is so awesome. It's not what we have." But chances are he's probably going to be like, "Oh man, this is crazy hard. Like, I don't get it." You know what I mean? So I don't want that to happen in D4 either. There's got to be a fine line. I would definitely err on the side of too complex than too basic, though, if I had the choice.
Yeah, being shallow is a way bigger risk.
Yeah. So I hope that they err on this side of like, hey, our game's ridiculously complex. You know what I mean? So.
But what a great problem to have is Diablo 4 comes out and you're like overwhelmed.
Yeah, for us, for sure.
Yes.
Yeah, we would love it. I mean, I want to get lost in the game for 5,000 hours. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but I just,
man, there's nothing like that, right? Like you play, like a Diablo 4 launches, or maybe say like tomorrow, a Diablo 3 expansion were to come out, and you're exploring like a new world, which 2 months from now you're gonna be like, this fucking place, but like that first time you're there and you're like,
it's so good.
It's so good. It's so good.
I mean, even just for a couple minutes in New World, like we talked about New World in the last podcast, and like we both agree that it's not gonna be game changing in my opinion, but the first hour, like when you're discovering like, how does this work? How does this thing work? Oh, these are the skills. Like, it's fun, man. It's just fun to get in and play something new. And it didn't take long to realize like, oh man, this game is basic as shit. Like there's only 9 abilities, or whatever the case was, or 6 or something per weapon class. You're like, okay, but it was fun to just get in there and have that, man.
Mm-hmm.
And it's gonna be sickness. I mean, even if Diablo 4 is pretty basic, at least the first couple of weeks will be crazy.
Yeah, but like,
I want it to
crushing.
be a month and months. Yeah. Here's the thing that scares me is like, I played Diablo 3 on console, and all of the systems translated over on console. They managed to get all of the systems in the game. The UI is completely different, and it sucks if you're used to PC. I'm sorry, but it does. But if they're gonna design Diablo 4 from the ground up with console and PC in mind, I just don't think they're gonna get that complexity on console. And it's not like console couldn't handle it, I don't think. But the interface is gonna be limited to controller, right? So that's instantly gonna make them simplify interfaces to make them console friendly if they're gonna be mirrors across all 3 platforms. And then I just don't see them. I don't see a console player base being as receptive to a crazy system as a PC player base. And maybe that's consolist, or like I don't even know how to say it, but
no, it's the point we brought up with talking about couch co-op so early is the focus now for Diablo and Blizzard should be like, let's make the best game we can. And then when you're at the end of your sprint and you've got like a few months left. Then let's think about how do we make this a good game for console too. It should not be like, oh well, this doesn't work on console, so let's throw it out. So I just think it's just the worst possible thing to consider at this point in development. It's just make a great fucking game, and then let's think about how we translate the console really well.
I think they're looking at it from a money perspective, and like console is. I probably at this point would say that console players on Diablo 3 might rival that of PC as far as sheer volume of players, because you got all three consoles combined numbers.
Sure, I wonder what that would look like if the game was still getting content though. Because you look at a game like Path of Exile, I would guarantee the PC space is the biggest.
Oh yeah, I don't even think it's close, right. But that can go towards the complexity though. I mean, that could kind of encompass all the things we're talking about. And so maybe they're looking at like, how do we get the most $60 sales of this game? Well, we make it on every platform and we make it the same on every platform. So it doesn't matter which one you want to buy it on. You already have it. If you have a system, you can buy our game. You know what I mean? I hope not. But I don't know, man. Like the console thing scares me a lot, especially after playing console. Like Diablo is, like I said, it's the same game on console. It just doesn't feel the same. It's like it looks the same, and the abilities look the same. But as you're playing it, you're like, this is not the same experience that I have on PC, and it's just different, man. And I feel like that's going to be a thing going forward. Is they're going to try to make everything mirror across the board. So,
yeah, it's tough.
Let's hope not.
I think that, but if you look at the things that, okay. If we back up just a little bit here, and we have Maester in chat, who's like Mr. Console too. So, like, if you really examine D3 from PC to the console experience, what makes that so different is, they've got the roll, they've got the stupid glory orbs, right? But if you really look at it, like, the UI is totally different, but it doesn't matter from like a gameplay, like itemization's the same, all that stuff. It's just like how they manage their inventory is totally, totally different, and that works. And I think that works really well. It's just the design decisions they made behind why did they add the ability for the roll? Why did they?
Yeah, just having to play the game with the controller is such a different experience, right?
But it doesn't have to be. I don't think.
It just feels so much different. Like you can't. Okay, here's an example. Like you're playing a Corpse Lance, Cold Lancer Necro, right? And you want to target the elite whenever you hit your COE cycle, and then you start spamming Corpse Lance and you blow them up, right? You can't target the elite on a console.
Why wouldn't they make the left joystick move and the right joystick target?
You'd have to have like a mouse reticle on the screen, and then I guess hit it there, and you'd have to swing it around. I don't know, but you can't, like the way it works now, it would be super hard. And like you can, I already like chat's already saying you can lock on with L2 and like target, but you have to like you have to get them targeted, lock onto them, and dance. It's just not the same experience is what I'm
right.
It's just not.
But like, I wonder what
does it work? Sure, it works. It works.
What made them go down that path, I guess, is my ultimate question. Like, why wouldn't they try to clone the PC experience as best they could with two joysticks? Which is, I mean, you could very easily. Yeah. Like, you look at a game like Lost Ark, we've said time and time again, I don't think that the gameplay experience, other than obviously you'd have to alter inventory management and all that stuff, just like you did for Diablo 3 console, which I feel like they did effectively pretty well.
Yeah, they made the interface work for
right.
console,
and so the decisions to change like the gameplay aspects, I think were bad.
Lost Ark would play very well with a controller based on its design. Like the whole other systems of the game need a mouse and keyboard. I guess what would be interesting to me to see would be like, could they make the next gen consoles, like could you just plug a keyboard and mouse into them and then play on keyboard and mouse?
Yeah, but then you can't couch co-op.
You can plug into keyboard and mice. I don't know, man. I don't know. Like it should though. Like if you're gonna let us plug a controller into PC, let us plug a keyboard and mouse into PlayStation. And like, that's fine, man. If you got to go buy a keyboard and mouse to plug into your PlayStation, that's on you. Like, you can play it with the controller that shipped with the console. That's fine. You've already built the keyboard and mouse support in the engine. Like, just port that over with the game and let people have that full-fledged experience, you know?
Yeah. But at the same time, you know, with Lost Ark, you could do that on like on a controller, and you would basically feel no. Obviously, there'd be more precision with the, you know, the PC, the mouse and keyboard, sure. But you know, you say the same thing about shooters. Like, obviously, there's more precision, but it's, you know, it's easier on a controller if you're good at the controller versus the keyboard and mouse. So it's just that, like, kind of what you preference kind of thing at the end of the day. So yeah, I think there's a way you can do combat. So it doesn't have to be different. And for whatever reason, Diablo 3 decided to go different. And that, to me, it still doesn't really make sense. And they shouldn't have done that.
Yeah. Diablo 4's combat's going to feel just like Diablo 3.
Yeah, in the current state, it's definitely the same. Yeah.
It's going to feel so much like Diablo 3.
Yep.
Oh, man. I wanted some Lost Ark.
Stop depressing me. Hey.
Oh, man.
Get out of here.
Lost Ark dreams so bad. All right.
Yeah, someone in chat earlier was like, "Hey, finally confirmed Lost Ark," and so I like quickly went over to the Lost Ark announcements.
It's the same thing.
No, there's nothing there. There's no official announcement of Lost Ark. Every week we get that. Anyway,
no, it's like they didn't say the words Lost Ark in that Amazon announcement, man.
Right.
It's not official. It's like as unofficial as you can possibly get, but it's not official. So until I hear Amazon say Lost Ark coming to NA.
Fuck Amazon. It's like, as soon as you hear Smilegate say Lost Ark is coming to NA, I won't believe it.
So if Amazon put a presser out, you still would be like,
It's Amazon. And they're not doing so good in the game universe so far.
You think? I think people love New World, man. Like, people were mad at us for not liking it last week.
What? There's people that like New World?
Yeah, there's like people that said we had in the chat live. There was a guy that was like, they have a very negative opinion of it. It was a good game, and I have people in my community that loved it. They played the whole beta the whole time it was up and loved it.
Wow.
I think I don't know if we're in the minority or the majority, but I you know, there's definitely some on the other side. So yeah. And that's fine, man. You don't have to.
It's not fine. It's absolutely not fine. You have to like everything I like.
Fluff is elitist, but that's fine. If you like New World, you play New World. I'm not mad at you. Yeah. Speaking of, okay, so we want to jump to the PoE stuff that happened, that dropped. I mean, I don't know if it's
you actually listen, chat, listen up. ThaPChild put Path of Exile content on the schedule. I know nothing about this. I just got back from town really late last night and worked all day. So this is all. This was all.
You know, I knew you were going to be tired today, man. I got your back every now and then. Take care of you, dude.
So I'm curious. Like, dude, fill us in. I can't wait.
So PoE is going to launch a technical patch. That is, they're going to basically update the way the backend stores the data for PoE, which means everybody has to re-download the entire client. So when this new patch hits, man, if you're on a metered connection, you better embrace or prepare for that. Stop downloading or watching Netflix ahead of time. But it's going to do a couple things for the game. This isn't super major. It's going to have faster patching for end users in the future. It'll be easier to do that. It's going to be faster loading of assets for non-SSD users specifically. So you can, you know, if you're not on an SSD, you should be by this point, get one. And then improve game textures. So I guess they updated the compression for their game textures a while back, but they didn't want to release them because everybody would have to re-download all the data again. And I guess that must cost them a lot of money, or for some reason they didn't want to make everybody do that. So since they already have to download anyways, they said, cool, we can push that in and everybody's going to have improved textures. I don't know how significant that means that's going to be. They said exact same thing for audio. They recompressed all of the audio files for the entire game, so they should be higher quality audio files now. Rendering improvements for the DX11 and the Vulkan engines, and it's also going to launch on Epic Game Store and Mac OS. So more ways to launch the game. It's cool. It's coming to Mac, I guess, if you're a PC gamer. If you're a computer gamer and you want to play on Mac. I don't know. I don't know why you try to game on a Mac, but you could if you wanted to.
Sure.
So
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I couldn't even. My work PC is a Mac, and so like sometimes when I would be like sitting downstairs or something like that, I couldn't play, or I couldn't not play, but I couldn't like
log in to check shit.
No, like Path of Building, like it's not even usable on a Mac. So that was definitely a big annoyance. It's like you'd have to like
remote into your station upstairs. Yeah. So that's cool. I have a Mac. I never use it. It's like the most expensive brick ever in life.
Why'd you sell that shit?
It's not even worth selling, man. Like I bought it for I bought one of the Retina MacBooks when they first came out. Like this was like 2013, 2012, 2013, something like that.
I'm sure you get something for it.
And yeah, man, it's like a $2,400 laptop, and like now it resells for like $400. It's like really,
it's $400. Just do it.
No, fuck that. I'm gonna let it sit on that coffee table and look pretty forever.
Makes a lot of sense.
I'm not taking a $2,000 loss.
Wow, guys.
It's the probably only Mac I'll ever buy.
So if you're deciding who to subscribe to, I mean, PTR obviously doesn't need the money, guys. Let's just lay it right here.
Totally not true. But I will say, it's I don't have anything to say. I'm done. I'm done. That's all the PoE juice I had, man. I tried really hard to find some PoE juice, and
I'm proud of you.
That's all I could get, dude.
But yeah, so obviously they've been doing little leaks here and there. Bex is going ham on the Twitters, small juice things. We're seeing sneak peeks at all the alternate skill gems and the cards and like all the juiciness that comes with these weeks leading up to the patch. So we should by next podcast won't happen, unfortunately. Damn, that's a really bad timing. We'll have the full patch by Tuesday of next week.
Maybe we'll talk. Maybe we'll
do it a day after. Yeah.
Maybe we can reschedule it to just on maybe a Wednesday or something. But we'll keep follow us on Twitter's, guys, if you haven't already, and we'll post a new date on Twitter.
Yeah, we should do that. If we wait till Thursday, we could have like literally everything. Maybe that's the play, because that would be the night before the patch. Anyways, we can talk about it later.
We'll see. Yeah.
But yeah, so Tuesday is gonna be full patch, and then like Thursday we'll have like all the new skill gems and full detail and stuff like that. So stay tuned with Path of Exile. And both of our Discords, I believe we have a whole channel that automatically imports that stuff. So make sure you guys get in our Discord channels. Like, it's automatically posted in there. It's super juicy, and you guys can talk about it. But yeah, and then you've got a bunch of other stuff.
Yeah, so like not really a ton of other stuff, but did you see? Okay, like let me preface this first. I got to ask the question. Did you play Breath of the Wild on Switch?
I did.
Okay, and did you like it?
I actually did. Believe it or not.
They announced the prequel. It's the sequel to Breath of the Wild, but it's a prequel today. I'm excited, man. I'm super excited. I love Breath of the Wild. I think it was a phenomenal game. It's called Hyrule Warriors: Age of Calamity, I believe. And it looks the trailers. It looks like they reused a lot of assets, which
it's fine. Right?
I guess I'm okay with that as long as the world's not the exact same. Then I'm okay with that. But I'm excited for it, man. Like, I loved Breath of the Wild. I thought it was a great game. This got announced today, and I'm hype. The problem is, guess when they're releasing this POS? These guys, I can't believe it. They're dropping it November 20th.
This year?
This year.
Wait, so, all right, catch me up for a second. So, I feel like, didn't we see an announcement for a Zelda sequel? This?
Yes. Yeah.
Like
well,
earlier
they did.
This year.
And I think that's this.
This?
I think. Yeah. I don't know. I think that's what they teased. Now, I haven't spent a lot of time researching this because I just found out about this like an hour and a half before the podcast, right? So I watched the teaser trailer, but I don't know how this couldn't be what they were teasing last year. Maybe it's not. But this is a prequel to Breath of the Wild. It's a full-fledged game from what I understand. And it looks, it's Breath of the Wild's engine. You know what I mean? So I don't know how they didn't tease that. But I think it's a full $60 title. I don't know. November 20th, 20. Like WTF, man. So we got Destiny's dropping November 10th. Cyberpunk 2077 is dropping November 19th. And then this Breath of the Wild sequel or prequel is going to drop on the 20th, the day after Cyberpunk. What are they
WoW?
doing? WoW is dropping October 26th. PlayStation 5's rumored launch date is November 20th as well. So it's not confirmed though. And Xbox is supposed to be in the same general time frame. Like Xbox and Sony are keeping their shit close because they don't want the other person to know when they're going to launch. You know what I mean?
Interesting.
So I don't know, man. So they're saying like chats might be saying that it's not the same game, that it's not the sequel. I don't know. I got to do some research into this. I love Breath of the Wild. If this is an open adventure Breath of the Wild style a game, then I'm excited and happy. If it's not, then I don't care.
I mean, it's got that look. I don't know what's going on.
It looks just like it. It looks like the engine to me. I mean, he's using the abilities. They're doing the things. Those are definitely the monsters that we fought, you know?
Yeah.
So you get to play the other guys. I don't know. It's cool though. I'm interested to see more. They said they're going to announce more things soon at the end of the month. They're going to talk about more stuff. So
okay.
So that's cool. You guys can keep your eyes out for that if you're a Zelda fan, which you know.
A lot of people are. Zelda's the the sword, right?
Link. Yeah. Are you serious right now? All right. So hey, how's that Xbox franchise with Samus doing?
What? Who?
Samus.
The like Prime guy?
The Metroid? Yeah.
Who? I don't even know what you're talking about. I don't even know the reference.
Halo. I was saying Halo with Metroid.
All right. Metroid's like a girl and stuff with.
I don't know. I thought the Halo dude was a chick too. You know.
Could be. Always wearing a mask.
Yep. Never takes it off. Voice changer, man. You
John. Don't know these days. John could be short for, something.
Joanna.
Joanna.
So, is there anything else on the schedule that we missed that we want to hit before we do some? I don't know if you have a fluff hate section.
I definitely got some loves. Have a fluff hate section.
Loves,
listen.
Okay, let's do it.
So, I traveled a little bit this weekend. Went to Washington. I flew to Washington to do. We did the Skyline Trail at Mount Rainier National Park, and then we went to Leavenworth and did the Enchantments, which is like a 28-mile hike, and it was hell. It was literally hell.
Hell.
So hard.
Are you glad you did it, or do you regret doing it?
No, I'm super glad I did it. I knew that it would be hard. Like I am the type that I can just I'll just keep going. Like even if my body's like, no, you need to stop, I'd be like, yeah, I got this, no problem. Like I just keep going. And I don't know, no hike has really challenged me like that because it was so hardcore. Like you started the trail, it was like literally you're climbing a mountain at like a 80-degree incline, it feels like, and like the gravel's falling out from under you, and you're like on your hands and legs for like 10 fucking miles, just straight up a mountain. And then you get up there and like, okay, cool. Like I'm probably like halfway done, right? But you're only like a seventh of the way done, and it's just like insane down. It's not even like you're going downhill.
Oxygen's getting like less and less as you go higher and higher too, right?
And it's not even like you're just going downhill like down a trail. It's like the whole thing's like blown out, and it's like you're just like going down more rocks, and like they have some like metal railing you can hold on to. I was just very surprised by like how intense most of it was, and so it was totally exhausting. Obviously it feels really good to finish anything like that, but it was incredibly painful.
And we talked about it a little bit on the pre-podcast show. Shout out to the Patreons. You guys can hear that conversation. If you guys want to hear it, you go check the Patreon out. But we talked about it on the pre-show, and I did kind of a similar thing when I went to Hawaii. One of the biggest mountains in Hawaii, they could climb up it, and my wife and I were like, "Yeah, we're gonna go do that. That'd be the shit. Like we can see."
Was that the one with the railroad track?
Yeah,
you climb up.
Like
okay,
yeah. It's like that, yeah. And it was cool, man. Like we started off, and like you're going, and then like about 20 minutes into it, you're like, "Holy shit, I'm tired." And then you look, and it's just like we're not even a fraction up this mountain, and it sucked. So it's not even the same scale as what you did. So I feel your pain.
Yeah.
And then when we got to the top, we were just chilling. We're like, man, I gotta recover. I gotta like rest up. I'm not going back down. I actually saw some lady fall going back down. Her boyfriend caught her, but she definitely fell and went down like some rocks and was like skinned her knee up. And I'm sitting here thinking like, fuck, man, what if she really would have got hurt? Like, how did they get them off this mountain? They helicopter them out, I guess. I don't know what you do.
Yeah, probably.
I don't even know if we had cell phone service, to be honest with you. So did you check while you were climbing?
Yeah, I definitely didn't the whole time.
So like, what do you do if you get fucked up?
I mean, there's so many people. Like, I shouldn't say so many people.
What are they gonna do though?
You couldn't sit there for like 10 minutes without seeing someone, probably.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And it was like that in Hawaii
like
too. It was probably less than that. It was probably more crowded than that. But.
Plus it's pre-corona, I'm sure. So
yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy too, because like a lot of those parts were like, I mean, they were sketch, and they like, it wouldn't take much. Like there were times where I slipped. Like I'd probably slipped 15 times, and like 6 of those times were like, that's pretty dangerous that I just slipped right there, and like I'm glad I recovered. So yeah, like, and it's weird too, because like other hikes I've done, you'll see people like, okay, maybe they're elderly, or maybe they're like a little overweight, and you're like, oh, like, okay, like if they can do it, should be no problem. But this one was just like, no, everyone was like like I never get past really when I hike, and I was getting past like left and right. Like there's fucking pros there, like legit.
Going crazy.
So,
that's what it was. When we did the one too, it was kind of like that. There was this old lady that was like starting like kind of at the same time, and I was like, is she fucking serious? This lady's gonna die, right? This lady kicked ass, dude. She was gone. She was like, I'm just like, dude, she must have been doing this her whole life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because she got to the top and passed us on the way back down as we're still going up. And I'm just like, I can't believe like this grandma just beat me up this mountain, dude. It's nuts though, man.
China in 2014, and there's this like place called Moon Hill, and you climb up like 700 plus stairs or something like that. And you're like sweating, and you're dying, and you're gasping for air. And there's like a lady that's like 85, 90 years old. And she's like selling Coke at the top of the mountain to, to tourists, because she does it every day.
Coke or Coca-Cola?
Coca-Cola, yeah.
Okay, I'm like,
yeah, that would be a whole different hike. Yeah.
He's like, hey, you're looking a little down. You need some spice? You need some spice in that stuff? Here, take this.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
But yeah.
So,
but anyways,
Coke in China.
Flop hates. Obviously, one, traveling during the pandemic. It's obvious. It's not ideal. Obviously, I'm lucky enough for my job. I'm self-quarantine like 100% of the time anyway, so it's pretty safe for me. But yeah, I mean, just like people fucking, they got their nose hanging out of their mask like non-stop everywhere. They on the flight back from Seattle, they had to like get on the intercom system like maybe 10 times, because they kept seeing people like just take off their masks like for no fucking reason. And it's like, put your fucking mask on over your stupid nose. Like, it's just crazy how people like, I feel like there was a time period back in February, March where people are like, oh, this is serious. And like they would mask up and they'd be precautious, maybe even wear gloves or whatever. And then it's just like, well, I'm bored of this now. In like April.
It just disappeared.
And then
it's like it's an inconvenience now. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this anymore.
Right.
I quit hide and seek.
So wild. And then the other thing is people that don't fucking like look after the goddamn dogs. Like you bring a dog to a park and it's like run all over the place, and like maybe shits everywhere and you don't pick it up. Like, oh my god, dude.
That's the pet peeve of mine, is when your dog shits and they just leave it. Like, I'm like, you just want us to fucking step in that now, dude? Like, what? No. It drives me crazy.
Yeah, this lady was like, her dog shit on the beach, and like at first she was like standing over it, and then she's like, oh, I can't find it, and she just like went back and sat down again. Like, you're
she just acted like she couldn't see it.
She's like, I don't know, he dug it pretty well. She said like loud in case everyone like was listening or something. It's like, you're just fucking lazy. Pick up with that shit.
No, you get down there and you pick that shit up.
Yeah.
That's what you should have said.
Disgusting, man.
Yeah. All right, I'm with you. I got some loves this week, man. I got 2 loves. I binged The Boys season 2, the first 3 episodes they put out on Saturday. No spoilers. Not gonna spoil anything. I liked it, man. It was phenomenal. It's the same. It just picked up right where it left off. It was so good. Have you had a chance to watch them?
I did. I was planning on streaming last Thursday before the flight, but they released them like Thursday night.
Yeah, I saw that.
Shit. So
yes, he did.
We watched.
So did you like them as well?
Yes.
They got a little crazy in the last one.
Listen, this is not even a spoiler.
Okay.
The main Starlight. Okay. It's not a spoiler because it's not really anything to do with the episode. I can't it's really hard to hear her lines because she got like injections to her upper lip and it's so distracting. I can't even
I didn't notice that, and I did have a hard time hearing them.
Yeah.
So
you it's ruined for you, by the way. You're welcome.
Thank you. The actress, you think she got injections?
I think she got an injection in her top lip. Yep. And it's just it just looks ridiculous.
Thanks for fucking that up, man.
Yeah,
I was fine. I was totally fine. You're such a dick sometimes. So I love The Boys season 2. I thought it was good. I thought the last episode got a little bit kind of crazy, but it was man, the show hits everything. Like, it is such a phenomenal. This is what superheroes would be like in real life. They would be assholes and they would do evil things and try to act like they were not evil. And it's so good. And then the corporate BS is just so good.
Yeah.
I want to talk about it so much, but I can't.
Right.
And then the second show that I watched that I love was Raised by Wolves. You know, we talked about that. It's an HBO show. It's directed by Ridley Scott. It was so good, man. Like, it was unbelievably good. HBO quality. I don't think it's Game of Thrones good, but it's like, it's on that HBO level of like, this is another hit.
Can you give another hit premise without giving anything away?
A very, very, very light premise would be that it's based in the future and humans have been forced to repopulate somewhere else. And I don't like. No, there's no wolves.
What the fuck?
You just gotta watch it, man. I'm telling you guys, it's at the end of the first episode, you're gonna be like, "What just happened? Holy shit!" Like it's mind blowing in the first episode. So check it out. It's cool. But yeah, I watched. So it's the same format as The Boys. They did the first 3 episodes, launched on the first week, and then they're gonna drop one a week on Thursdays for the Wolves. And I think Boys is Fridays, maybe. So probably Thursday night.
I'm so glad they did that, by the way.
I am too.
When they just dump it all and you just like waste a day, and then you're like, well, I can't wait for another season in a year and a half, 2 years. Like,
I think it keeps the hype rolling. It lets you think about what happened and analyze the episodes a little bit more and stuff. The series again was The Boys and Raised by Wolves. Raised by Wolves is the HBO show that's really, really good, and The Boys is an Amazon. It's a Prime. It's with your Amazon Prime account. Prime. What do they call their Prime Video? Prime Video. Maybe that's it. This is The Boys. So, anyways, check those out, man. If you guys have any time, I give them double thumbs up.
Nice.
Let's hit some Twitter questions.
Okay.
Man. Some Twitters. The first question we have comes from OSO. OSO says, how do you see the world in 30 or 40 years from now? Is it going to be better, worse, the same? How's the future going to be? Are we going to be more in sync with the planet and try to fix it, or we aren't going to give a F and keep destroying it? Don't be shy. Tell me everything.
You know what's pretty wild to see, when that first corona wave hit, is like how much emissions have been reduced across the planet. Like, that was a really fascinating thing. So yeah, I mean, it's hard to see a world where in 30, 40 years we're not like so much worse, and the trash island in the ocean's like the size of South America, North America combined or something. Like it's just crazy to think, all the shitty things we're doing to the planet and it not biting us in the ass, like probably soonish. Mm-hmm. But on top of that, the political climate as well. And I feel like people are getting a little, obviously, regardless of if you're a Republican or Democrat, I think people are getting a little fed up with the whole two-party system and like how can these be our options like every 4 years? You're
Right.
either like you're in love and you worship that candidate, or you're just like, what the fuck is going on, basically.
Yeah.
So I mean, who knows like what the future holds
Yeah,
there.
culture's crazy. I think the world's changing to a a global economy, a global system. Like we're so much more in connection with everything else. I don't know if it's going to happen in 40 years, but I definitely think that I don't know, man. It's just different. People are more educated now, or more falsely educated now because they're more influenced by social media and other fake things.
Yeah.
So, but I don't know, man. It's really hard to say where we're going to end up. But as far as like the planet's health, so to say, I mean, I don't know. I think companies are starting to act like they're trying to do better. Amazon's running commercials talking about how in the next 20 years they're going to be a carbon free neutral company, and Apple puts out statements all the time talking about how it's reducing its pollution and things like that. So hopefully it will be better, man.
What
But
was that
I don't
statistic
know.
we shared a while ago? It was like 90% of global emissions were from like 15 companies or something like that. Like,
Yeah, it was
I
pretty
feel like
crazy.
the rest of the world just needs to like unite against United States and China and just be like, bro, seriously, like,
What are you doing?
what the fuck?
Yeah,
Stop.
I don't have a lot of knowledge or investment in like the environment. I just I'm not that educated about it. I haven't spent any time researching what's going on. And then I'm always skeptical of my sources too. I always kind of feel like do they have an agenda? Are they, is this facts and let me make my opinion, or are they trying to
Yeah.
sway me? You know what I mean? But yeah, I definitely think that we're going the wrong direction though, and hopefully we'll turn it around. I don't know. That's kind of a super loaded question too. I don't really know what to
Yeah. Do you
how to
find,
say.
I don't know. I try to put myself in your shoes as like a dad too. Like, I feel like I would stress more about like the future of, not just like the United States, but yeah.
For your kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you
And for
think
me, it's
about
just
that a
like, well, I
lot,
hope I
man.
get through this lifetime, like, and then I'm peacing out. Like, see ya. I
Yeah,
don't give
like
a
see
shit what
ya.
happens after me.
Yeah, like you definitely care. You definitely care about the
Yeah.
legacy and the things you leave behind for your kids. You know what I mean? And I think just like our parents worry, about us, even though we're still adults. Like my mom still worries. She's like, "Oh, blah blah blah." I'm like, "We'll be fine. You're good." So it's weird, man. But I do think about it. Yeah.
Mm.
So I think it's crazy right now to see that. I think there's such a instant. I think society has changed to an instant gratification. Like we want everything now, right now, right now, right now. I don't give a shit about anybody else. Look at me, focus at me. I'm the princess. The world revolves around me, and I want it right now. It's kind of the how I feel like most people are.
Yeah.
So
Shameful. By the way, guys, you can subscribe with your Amazon Prime.
it's a peach child, enough love. So, anyways, that's you know, GeoZilla says, do you think there's room for D4? I'm sorry. Do you think there's room in D4 for a competitive scene like an esport? In D3, all we have are leaderboards. Do you think that with D4 they'll add this into the game? Um, I don't know, man. An ARPG as an esport would be a push. I think there's definitely room for competitive gameplay in both PvE and PvP, though.
I
Hopefully.
think like you look at League of Legends and Dota, and like those are all top downs. I don't think it's like out of the realm of possibility for like a PvP and ARPG to really take off.
hmm
Uh, I think it
It's
just depends on
it's
how they
in the
do it.
realm of possibility.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you'd have to have extreme balancing for that to be a thing. And yeah, I mean, you could do it though. You could do it. Like I said, there could be a ARPG BR that just blows up. Like
Yeah.
if they put a BR in Diablo, dude, that could be a thing. It could be a serious thing. And we could see a whole new genre of competitive players emerge from that. You know what I mean? It'd be
Maybe.
all like 13-year-olds kicking our ass, but you know, it'd
No,
definitely
speak
be
for
a thing.
yourself.
Yeah, I'm telling you,
I still
Boomer.
got it.
Yeah, I'm telling you,
I still
Boomer.
got it.
So
But yeah, and then at the same time, like obviously, I would hope that they would continue to try to innovate on the PvE front because it is hard to think of, ways esport wise where you could excite. There was like the thing that WoW did for a while where they did like what mythic
they
against
still
each
do
other.
that. Yeah, they still do like the realm first mythic
Yeah.
clears and like all the big raids, and that's a huge thing, man. People really get into that. I personally don't get into it that much. I think PvE is a lot harder to make that sport,
Yeah.
to generate the excitement. Um, but yeah, man, I think competitive is the first start, and if they do competitive well, then I think the esport comes naturally out of that. It's like, oh, this is balanced really good. There's room here to make like people want to see this. Let's make it an esport. I think that's kind of the way that'll happen if it does.
Yeah.
Um, Landenberg says, with the PTR patch notes and the D4 blog post all scheduled in this month, why haven't they released the PTR notes yet? Spread the hype train a bit. Don't you guys have some insider leaks?
Why do people always assume we know something? Now I will say I did kind of know something last time, but this time I don't know shit. I don't
Yeah.
know shit about shit.
You hear things every now and then, and if you know something, you can't say it anyways
Yeah.
because then you'll never know something ever again, right? So the best we can hope for is that if we do know something, that they would gather feedback and intel to where we have the ability to help influence it in a positive direction.
Yeah.
That's really all that any content creator could ever hope for. But we can't say anything. You know what I mean? Even if we did know, which I'm not saying we do. I don't know shit. But if I did, I still couldn't say anything. But with everything scheduled to drop this month, man, we shouldn't have much time to wait. You know what I mean? Like the 30th is the last day of the month, so they got 22 days to drop the D4 announcement or the blog post. I imagine it'll happen, at the 12th hour, like usually, or 11th hour. How's that thing go? 11th hour.
Mhm.
So, and as far as the D3 patch notes, man, I don't know.
I mean,
I don't know.
honestly, the longer the D3 patch notes wait to come out, I think I'm a little bit more excited because hopefully that gives, Frankie and the team more time to do more balance changes or maybe to boost up sets that haven't been great. Or maybe like originally they weren't thinking about like, well, this set's already performing, so why does it need to be really looked at? And, performing in the sense that like it's maybe 5 to 10 GRs behind or something like that. So it's like usable, but it's not great. So maybe they're thinking about like doing those too, or maybe more legendaries are coming into it, right? Like the longer they take, to me, that gets me a little bit more excited because it's the more we could potentially see in the change.
It's the exact same. I feel the exact same way. I feel like the longer it takes us to get these PTR notes, the better they're going to be. If we get them and they're not that good and it's an extra month down the road, then I'm gonna feel like this is bad. You know what I mean? Like, oh man. So I hope we get a good seasonal theme this next season. I don't really have an idea of what a good. There were some things that we were talking about. Let me run these past you, Fluff. I actually meant to put this in the schedule to talk about,
Okay.
but I forgot.
Lay it on me.
So some ideas that we had, and like I said, I don't think these are the end game seasonal theme ideas, but these are just things that are interesting. My chat brought up the point of what if you put a gem that allowed you to manipulate your cube any way you wanted, like last season's seasonal theme. I thought that was an interesting idea. You'd have to give the gem something else in it to do
Like the
something.
legendary gem is the open cube power.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, you could throw a little bit of extra flavor on it, but and I'm like, Necros would definitely use that shit. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, it's so hard to balance around that, man. I don't
I
know.
know. So that's something like a way to, and I think what we end up getting back to is kind of like what PoE does, where they keep the season in the game after the season ends, and that's what the Legacy of Dreams
Sometimes.
gym did. Yeah,
Yeah.
sometimes, and that's what the Legacy of Dreams gym did, and that's what this one would do. So that was Super Mike thought that one up. I thought that was kind of cool. And then I talked to you the other day about having a Rift Guardian pylon. I just think that's an cheap, easy win. Maybe, hopefully, if you could code that super fast and just throw a pylon that spawns Rift Guardians, because why not? Fuck it. And then, what was the other? There was one other decent idea. Man, I just drew a blank. I should have written this down in the schedule when I had them in my head. If I think of it, I'll ask again before the podcast is over.
I'm
If
surprised you
not, I'll
didn't
try to.
suggest a whirlwind pylon.
That's a really good pylon. So listen, here's the thing. You put the pylon in, and when you click it, the Super Mario Star Power song starts playing. Dun, 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 you know what I mean? That starts going.
Yeah.
And then you just start violently whirlwinding. But it's not just a regular whirlwind. It like takes up the entire screen at the same time. It's like Headhunter whirlwind.
Wow.
Yeah.
I hope that you are never in charge of a video game.
Why are you so toxic? Let's see. What else do we got? I lost the questions. Here they are. Steve says, what are some jobs that you just can't afford to mess up? Like if you have this job and you F up, something's going down.
Air traffic controller.
Okay. That was easy. Is it wrong if I say a cop?
I mean, no. Cop, surgeon. I mean, there's a ton of people.
Yeah, brain surgeon. You couldn't fuck. I mean, rocket scientist or engineer.
I mean, honestly, computer science. Like if I'm programming like the mechanisms that go in, the planes, and I somehow fuck up something, it's like there's so many different ways for something to go wrong. Fortunately, if you've ever read like Black Box Thinking is a really good book. If you haven't read that, it kind of talks about like, basically like loops in testing and how we can learn from them and stuff like that, and how some things have really progressed, like things like, flights, technology and that sort of thing, versus medical, where we really haven't progressed that much because there isn't that like that loop of like learning from mistakes and stuff like that in place. So it's really, really interesting. But yeah.
I'm sorry. Ice Ropes. This is the last question. Ice Rope says, what is the dumbest thing we've canceled so far? And I'm assuming that he means like cancel culture. Yeah.
I don't do we have a list of things that we can cancel?
That's just is open. So I don't know.
I don't really know. The doc, if it's not.
We don't know what the fuck.
Yeah.
Listen, I follow this because like I like Doc, man. I really do. And so Doc had a thing the other day. I don't know if you saw it, where he was talking about how he still doesn't know what it is, and it gives him anxiety and shit. And I'm sitting here like, tell me if you feel the same. I'm thinking in my mind, you are so full of shit, my dude. Like I mean, the anxiety could be real, right? But he knows what he was canceled for. There's no fucking way he doesn't have a vague idea of what he is canceled for. Like he knows. You know what I mean? Now,
yeah, but at the same time, it could be right. So like imagine if you were fired, like say you were laid off, for example, and you never knew why. It wasn't because the company's cutting back or people are getting laid off. Like we can't afford you anymore. You just like literally got fired, and you're like, why? And they didn't say a fucking word. It would obviously be like, well, how do I even improve? Where do I go from here? Like, what did I do wrong?
But he was under a contract. He just signed a brand new contract, and they had to break the contract, right? So legally, if they broke the contract, they'd have to have a clause or a reason. Like
this is Twitch we're talking about, though. Like, so they can
but they can't just have a contract that's like we can cancel you anytime. Then what's the point of the contract? I don't know, man.
I'm sure there's loopholes that, like a lawyer, because this is a very like unknown frontier, this whole Twitch streaming thing and live streaming in general. So a lawyer would look at the contract and be like, oh yeah, it's good, you should take it. And then Amazon's like, gotcha. You know what I mean? Like there are probably weird loopholes built in like this. I'm not listen, at the end of the day, I'm not defending because we have literally zero idea. But at the same time,
I'm with you.
That really sucks for him if it is super innocent. Right.
Yeah. I wonder if it was a Me Too, like that he kind of happened during that whole Me Too movement, and I wonder if that was, he got accused of some things, and since he's such a high profile, like they were like, not, I don't know, man. I just, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
It sucks too, because like, here's the thing. Either Twitch has done him some massive favor by being completely like not transparent about anything and like completely keeping you under wraps, or they're doing him a massive disservice by doing the exact same thing that I just described. So it's like either he did something terrible and they're doing a favor by like not bringing it to the light, or like they're a bunch of dicks. And
but
like,
I mean, the thing is he even said on the thing, he's like, listen, man, I fucked up in the past. And I'm used to high pressure situations. I owned that. I made that mistake. And he's talking about when he cheated, right?
right.
I own that. I made a mistake, and I can take responsibility and try to fix it.
Right.
He's like, I don't even know what I did in this one, so I can't even fix it. I can't even own it because I don't even know what's going on.
Exactly. It's like being fired and no one told you why. You'd be like, well, how do I improve? And like, of course you'd have anxiety because it's like, well, I'm just like doomed to make the same mistake.
I know,
again.
man.
I don't know what it is.
It's crazy. It's a crazy clip if you see it. He looks like he's banging on YouTube. Like, so I mean, I don't know, number wise if the money equals out, but dude, he's pulling way more viewers on YouTube than he ever was on Twitch. So it looks like it could have ended up being a good thing for him. So craziness, man. As far as what's the worst thing that we've canceled, or geez. I'm not even really sure, man. I would have to go because that's just my realm is streaming stuff. Like, the
I've got a good one.
Okay,
I've got a really good one. This has
I'm gonna
nothing
say more streamers
to do with cancel culture. But listen, this is a fluff hates / I can't believe this. Okay, so I go in to test drive a motorcycle the other day.
Okay.
And I live in Kansas City, Missouri. If you guys don't know, Kansas City's in both Kansas and Missouri. Okay. So I'm in Kansas City, Missouri, and I go into this motorcycle shop to test drive this motorcycle, and I'm like gearing up to go test drive it, and I go to grab my helmet. He's like, "Oh, you don't have to wear that." I'm like, "Well, no, of course I do. This is Missouri. I have to wear a helmet." He's like, "No, rejoice that I guess they abolished the helmet law in Missouri. Yeah."
Wow.
So now
I also live in Missouri. So.
Now you don't have to wear a helmet in Missouri. And they're like, yeah, it's awesome, right? I'm like, you fucking idiots. Like, why of all the things? Imagine if you're like that one guy that's like petitioning wearing helmets like at the courthouse. Like what? I don't know. I guess it's survival of the fittest at the end of the day.
I mean, I'm going to let people make their own decision. I'll just throw my own personal experience. So I got my first dirt bike when I was like 8 years old. All right. So I rode motorcycles and dirt bikes. I got my first motorcycle the day I turned 16. I had a motorcycle. I rode motorcycles until I was 24 years old. When I was 24 years old, I had a truck run a stop sign and hit me when I was doing 50 to 60 miles an hour. I don't know exactly how fast I was going. He sideswiped me and it fucked me up super bad. Like, I got a crazy long story about all of that, but a really quick version. I didn't walk for 6 months. I didn't run for 2 years, and collapsed lung, lacerated liver, bruised kidney, broken bones sticking through the skin. Okay. Like, it was fucked up. So, I had a helmet on that day. I had full riding leather, full gloves, full gear, everything. Right. If I didn't have my helmet on, I'm dead. I'm not here right now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, and instead of not dead, I was actually like, my face wasn't fucked up and disformed. My head, actually, he hit me and I went airborne and I landed in the median between the highway and the service road. And my helmet actually, like, as I was flying or sliding, my helmet hit like a big ass rock and it took a chip out of the helmet.
Damn.
Like, my skull would have been laying in the grass. So listen, man, you guys do what you want. It's your life, but wear the fucking helmet, dudes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Literally like 20 miles per hour, your skull splits open. Like, it takes nothing.
100% I would be dead if I didn't have the helmet on. Like, no bullshits.
Crazy.
So, yeah, it's nuts, man. So that's stupid. Like, Illinois doesn't have, like, so I'm on the other side. So if you guys aren't familiar with the state, like, Fluff is literally on the left side of the state and I'm on the right side of the state. And Illinois is right across the river, the Mississippi River, and Illinois doesn't have a helmet law. So I'll see people all the time from Missouri. As soon as they get in Illinois, they take their helmet off and like strap it on the back of the bike and stuff.
The same. Kansas doesn't have a helmet. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
And now just ride through the tri-state area.
I guess, man. Hey, listen, man, you do you. I guess that's survival of the fittest. We'll have a smarter gene pool in the future for kids, you know.
Crazy.
So, But yeah, like I said, man, to each his own. You can do what you want. I personally would never do it. So, but you know what else is on the subject of motorcycles? When I was in Los Angeles, or when I was in San Diego, and Palm Springs and all that area, motorcycles would drive through the middle of cars on
lane splitting
on highways.
It's legal in California.
That shit's hella illegal in Missouri.
Yeah, it's illegal everywhere besides California.
And like, so I saw people doing it, and at first it pissed me off. I'm like, dude, that's so fucking illegal. What are you doing? I'm like, what are these assholes doing? And then like, I was like, it was happening so frequently, and like these guys were coming so close to the car, right? And I'm just like, what the hell? And then I started talking to somebody down there about it, and they're like, yeah, that's totally illegal. That's totally legal, dude. And I'm like, what? How is that legal? I didn't know that's a thing.
Yeah, like literally every other country in the world, it's totally a thing. Besides here, unless you're in California. And it's so weird because like the first time I was riding a motorcycle in California, like I knew lane splitting was legal, but I was like very uncomfortable with it. And I remember like I was in Los Angeles and it was like traffic was stuck and I was behind a car and the car like moved for me to like go by. Like it was just like a normal thing. I was just like,
here you go, dude.
Whoa, like this is wild. And I remember like thinking that was so awesome. I was like, well, I'll come home in Kansas City and like I'll just I do lane split sometimes, and if it's like totally stopped. And I remember like one time I was driving to the gym and I was lane splitting because the traffic was completely stopped, and a Hummer like just literally like pulled out and like tried to hit me because he was upset that I was going to be able to do that. Like, you're going to murder me because you're upset I'm on a vehicle that can do that. Like, that's fucking crazy.
He said you're gonna murder me. Oh my god. Yeah. I mean, like I wouldn't take it to the extreme of the Hummer and try to murder you, but it definitely was like, what are these assholes doing? This is bullshit. I gotta sit here, you gotta sit here too.
What?
You know?
That's so like if a bicycle's passing you, like you're not pissed off the bicycle.
So dangerous. I don't know. It freaked me out though, man. Like so in St. Louis where I live, and that's where I've lived here my whole life. And I rode motorcycles. That is not a thing. Like, you don't see people doing that. You just don't do it. And then so to go to LA and then see everybody doing it, it was like, what the fuck?
Yeah. You go to Vietnam sometimes.
It was crazy, man.
People are right on the sidewalks. People are going the wrong way.
Yeah,
insane.
It's nuts, man.
Yeah.
It's just weird. Like, you get used to what you get used to.
Yeah.
You know?
For sure.
So that's it, man. That's all the questions we had. Thanks for hanging out for the 2-hour New Meta podcast.
Yeah.
These are supposed to be an hour. We don't ever do that.
No.
You know? Like, you guys just love it when we do these long ones, don't you? That's it, man. If you guys want to catch more of me, you can catch me at ThaPChild on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, all of the places. Just search for ThaPChild.
Yeah. And I'm Lord_Fluffy. Double those underscores on the Twitter. We'll see you boys next week, maybe at a different day.
We'll post it on Twitter. Keep up.
Yeah. Peace out.